this afternoon, you always want to know what's new. And so RJ and I talked about just keeping you up to date with some of the improvements, updates we've made to the products, why we've done them. You know, we listen to you guys. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we start, I want to just tell a quick Andy story. And you probably heard it before, but I still have PTSD over this. The very first time I traveled, maybe the first or second time I traveled with Andy, it was, I don't know, we were out in one of the states that start with an I, and there was a tornado coming. And I don't know, you know, he was really trying to impress, and we're going to get to the next meeting and we're going to do it. And I was like, do you think we should go out in this weather? We'll be fine. We get a little way out into that weather, and he says, I think we need to go back. So I've never forgotten that. But anyway. And I also, you know, we talk about team all the time, and Andy has been exceptional in his sales. But over the last couple of years, I've got to talk with his wife more. And I will tell you that you have somebody standing out in front. You've got RJ standing out in front. You've got Randy. You've got myself. Behind us, there's always somebody at home that's always holding down the fort. You've got Nicole down there, and I know she does a lot with her husband. So the team starts at home as well. So we're all very thankful to have a really great team in our own household. So that's super important. But what's new? What's new? The first product that I would like to talk about is the DAC Metabolic. It's a relatively new product for those of you that aren't that familiar with the DAC Metabolic. It is chromium and magnesium, right? It's the Chemtrace chromium, comes from Chemin, which is the only FDA-approved chromium for use in horses. Chromium is an exceptional product. It unlocks glucose, which is really the fuel for life, and enables the animal to, do whether it be immune function, brain function, recovery. Chromium is quite exceptional. With the metabolic, we put this product together. For years, people had asked me about, we need a product for horses with laminitis or insulin resistance. Have you heard about this herb? Have you heard about that thing? And I was like, no, none of those things work. Until we came to the chromium product, we started using it right when it had been officially approved by the FDA. And there is a boatload of science in horses and in a lot of other livestock species on its ability to help with glucose and insulin regulation. So the DAC Metabolic, for those insulin-resistant horses that their insulin function is broken, the chromium in that product helps those horses. But you'll notice on the tiny little white pellets, that's what the DAC Metabolic looked like when we first launched this product. It was manufactured by a company that sells primarily milk products, so they wouldn't have anything of color in their mill. So no alfalfa, nothing like that. So it was a whey-based product, and it was in that tiny little pellet. To get a product into that tiny little pellet, which we thought was a bit of a novelty at the time, and it would be easy to put in your feed and mix in well, high pressure and high steam. So any of you that have used the metabolic know that kind of had a bit of a smell at times that I would get a lot of messages about ferment in the warehouse. It smells again, you need to do something about it. So anyway, we actually have changed manufacturers, and the picture on the right-hand side, or the other side, the greener pellet, that's now got an alfalfa carrier. Much more palatable. If you smell it, it smells really normal. There's no kind of off smell to it. It is exactly the same product, exactly the same guaranteed analysis, all the key benefits, the chromium and the magnesium, but it does look different. I know that the biggest mistake you can make with horse people is changing what the product looks like, okay? But so I'm just giving you the backstory on why we made those changes. The quality control is going to be a lot easier with this. Kalmbach is actually now manufacturing that product for us. So if you've got any questions about that, I'll take them at the end. But it is still the same great product. If you've had success with it in the past, you will continue to have success even more, because now more horses will probably want to eat it. The next product that we have made significant changes to, and this is listening to you guys, listening to the territory managers, the Breeder's Choice Plus. So one of the questions I get a lot from newer people that come to the DAC company or are using the DAC products is, how do I choose between products, whether it be the Orange and the Total Performance and the Breeder's Choice Plus or the Cult Girl? How do I choose? We'll talk about vitamins and minerals. How do I decide which one's the right one for me? Well, the Cult Girl is kind of easy. It's got a young horse name in it. It's for a young horse. But then Total Performance, Orange. Like if you look at the label, like a lay person may say, I don't really know what the difference is. And so a lot of times we would say the Breeder's Choice Plus, it has slightly more vitamin A in it, selenium, and those things are excellent for improved reproductive efficiency. The Breeder's Choice Plus product was always manufactured and positioned for those broodmares and stallions. But if you had DAC Orange in your program and your mares did have no problems getting pregnant, then you could use the DAC Orange, right? So it didn't have a clear lane other than the name of it. We wanted to improve that. We wanted to make this very specifically for the breeding horse and put some of those added technologies in there that we know are going to help with reproductive efficiency and bone density in those foals. So the first addition is that calci powder, right? The calcite, the marine-derived calcium. We've talked about it before. We talk about it a lot when it comes to gastric ulcers. Because of the actual physical form, it looks like honeycomb under a microscope, right? And if you get your catalog out, that page on the screen there, that is a page in the catalog now. Again, a new tool to help you sell that technology. Right? Sometimes I get a bit lost and I'm like, well, I know how to sell it. I'm talking about it all the time, but I read it, live, and breathe it every day. And I know like there's a lot of you that don't do this every day. Maybe you've got other jobs. So I wanted to make it a lot more simplified so that you have a tool, like with the GI Pro 3, the calci powder. We've got a tool here so that when you get in a situation, you've got 30 seconds to sell somebody on a new technology, it's much easier for you. So anyway, the Breeder's Choice Plus has that calcite, the calci powder in it, along with the Cool Gut and the Pre-Buff and the Cult Girl. And why it's in the Breeder's Choice Plus now is because of that bone density. Significant amount of research done on this product, this ingredient, the calci powder, improving bone density in those young horses and those young foals, and that will pass through the placental barrier and it will improve the bone density. Well, it's more like cartilage density in that fetus. It will also help with milk quality. Oops. The other change we made was to add the chromium. The Chemtrace chromium, which we've talked about for glucose and insulin, and how in those metabolic horses with the crusty neck that can't have high sugars and starches, because the reason why they can't have sugars and starches is because they can't clear that glucose out of the blood, and the chromium helps them do that. In a performance horse or an animal that we're expecting to have high performance, which is a broodmare, there really isn't much higher caloric or nutrient requirements than making a baby. We know that the chromium increases reproductive efficiency, okay? It will reduce infection, improve conception rates, improve pregnancy rates. This next one I think is huge, is a huge selling point, because anytime we add technologies, yes, it does increase the price. You get what you pay for. But right here, if somebody says, oh, really? You had to increase the price? I'm not sure I want to buy that. Reduced days to first service. So anyone in the broodmare game knows you send a mare to the stud, send her off to the on the breeding farm, and she doesn't take that first time. She doesn't cycle, or she doesn't take. And she's got to stay there with them feeding her, sending you a bill until they can have another go. And that is going to cost you a lot more than $5 that we increased the bag by. So reduced days. Sometimes you got to reposition it to how much is it costing you not to use this technology, right? It also increased number of viable oocytes. And all of this research has been done in high stress situations. We've done a lot of work in dairy cows on reproductive efficiency. So those two ingredients are in the Breeder's Choice Plus now. So it really, if you have brood mares and you want to level up and you want to really feed them something that is going to help with reproductive efficiency, help throughout that pregnancy, the Breeder's Choice Plus would be my choice over the other vitamins and minerals. Last year, we launched fly control in the lick tub. And there was a lot of questions, and people said, well, what if we don't want to feed the lick tub? How can we just have the fly control? Can't you just sell us the fly control without the lick tub? And we said, I don't know. So now you can buy the fly control in a 40-pound bag. It's got a very low feeding rate, a long shelf life. The one thing is, with any fly control, is that all animals on your property have to be on some kind of fly control. So this actually does help us out, because we know that not every horse would be on a lick tub. Maybe you've got the horses out here that are maintenance horses, not doing a lot. They're eating the lick tub. You've got your performance horses in the barn. They weren't eating the lick tub, so they weren't getting that fly control. So now you will have access to be able to put that in. Don't ask me a question about how much it's going to cost or when you're going to get it. Direct that to RJ right in the back there. So I know it's coming very soon. We toyed with, there's a couple of things that are on the horizon. Should we tell you? Should we let it out of the bag now? But my thing is, we've got everybody here. As Andy said, you're going to go home and talk to people. So this is an excellent opportunity to get people excited, to get information out there. That's what I kind of use this platform for. Just get information out there. The pre-buff, I know the pre-buff has been a little bit of a bane in everybody's side. We've had some issues with the bottles exploding. And I put it up here because I want you to know that we're continually working on this. It's a great product. It's that marine-derived calcium in a liquid form. It's kind of thick. It's the only DAC product that works instantaneously. Every other product you need to look, 30, 60 days. This product works immediately. You feed it and your horse's gut is instantaneously buffered. All right? You're going to trailer. You're going to have the veterinarians coming. You're going to ride the horse. I know he doesn't have ulcers, but I don't want him to get ulcers. I know he's going into a stressful situation. The pre-buff is a perfect product to feed. But we've had, obviously, some manufacturing. We're working with a different manufacturer to make sure that consistency and quality comes first. We've had product, and I know it gets very frustrating when you see back ordered, not available, when we've got this great product. But it's the utmost of importance that we continue to provide you with a consistently good product. And if it's not being consistently, having the quality control that we want, then we will hold it until we can get at that point. So I just want to tell you, I apologize that we've been having these issues, but in transparency, when you see that something's back ordered like that there's a reason, a good reason. We don't want to send out product that doesn't match our standards. So that's what we're working on. And lastly, the cool gut. The cool gut, there's nothing wrong with the cool gut other than sometimes it's made in the same facility, the manufacturing facility that will not have any green products in it, and so it's whey-based as well. Back in the day, I tried to put Butapearl in it, and it really smelled. So there's been things that I've wanted to do. Technology's come along, and I've wanted to improve it or add it here or add there, and I haven't been able to because, again, this is that tiny pellet. And so we're looking to have this one manufactured also by Kalmbach, so it would mean that it would change like the metabolic did. go from a tiny white pellet to a dark green pellet. And I know that might freak everybody out, but I'll tell you, I'm just telling you now, that if it does change, we will let you know. But that is something that we're looking at doing, so that then we can make it. It's easier with a larger pellet to be able to add new technologies. That tiny pellet does restrict us on what we can add because it has to go through a lot of high heat and pressure to get that tiny pellet, and that decreases the amount of technologies you can put in there because some of them are broken down by that. So again, just to make sure that we're giving you the best product that we can. A little insight into some manufacturing. That's not what we talk about a lot, but it is a big part of supplying you with quality products. And I think that not only is communication, Andy talked about communication, there's nothing that we want to hide from you. Like, we're transparent. I think that's very important. That a lot of times people say that the experts that work with a company are the furthest away and you never get access to them. But there's so many of you in here that I know on a first name basis that communicate with me regularly, whether it be by text or phone call or email. And so I want to continue that relationship. I want to make sure that you all know that I am a resource, that Dr. Duran is a resource. And that only starts by building that relationship so that you feel like you can trust me. I'm being open and honest about what we're doing. So I actually don't have any more because I knew that this would lead into the Q&A session, and I knew you'd probably have a lot of questions. That's why I made Andy go first. There was a method to my madness. So I don't know whether Andy and RJ want to come back up here or whoever's supposed to do the Q&A with me. Just making an assumption you want me to help answer the questions, but you know what assumptions make.
We will open it up here for the next 5 to 10 minutes on questions. Got one right there. The Breeder's Choice Plus, yes. The product that is going to be shipping out, we only have about 45 bags of the old stuff left. I have set it aside. If you guys place your orders, you guys have came to DAC Days, you're the first ones to hear about it. You all will receive the new Breeder's Choice Plus rolling out of there.
Same with the metabolic?
The metabolic, if there is some 20-pounders left, depending on the size you get. But as far as 5s and 40-pounders, the new stuff is in.
Yes, sir. Daniel. So I think the question is, with a buggy horse harnessed up, ready to go, and you want it to eat some hay or something, I am always a big proponent of don't exercise on an empty stomach because we get that splash effect. So he's trying to, practice what I'm preaching and get the horse to eat something, but it doesn't really want to. That is a perfect situation for the pre-buff, because you can give it, it's instantaneously buffering the stomach. A lot of times we've actually had testimonials from people where horse doesn't really want to eat, give it pre-buff. It immediately soothes the stomach, and then they actually want to eat. So if you get a horse in that doesn't want to eat, maybe they're a bit uncomfortable, then pre-buff is something that I would add to the program just to encourage them to eat because it helps them with that pain. Does that kind of help? Is that what he's talking about?
Question over there.
Is there a benefit to feeding the DDA and the pre-buff at the same time? Absolutely. You wouldn't, in that situation, you wouldn't feed the DDA with the pre-buff. The pre-buff is the only one that's immediately working. So that horse is, tacked up, ready to go, and he wanted it to eat something and it wouldn't, whether it was excitement or not feeling comfortable. The DDA is something more of a maintenance. Every day, my little saying is every horse every day should eat the DDA. But certainly not like timed. It just needs to be in the meal. That's an excellent question. So how long will the horse reap the benefit or the buffering effect of the pre-buff? Pull out your catalog, and actually there's a little chart that we did on the pre-buff page. At the University of Kentucky, we actually simulated the stomach environment and we measured how quickly the pre-buff would work. And it actually lasts for 4 to 6 hours. What are they eating around? The minerals. Oh yeah, go ahead, guys.
I'll start on it. The big thing that I always say is it depends on the feed you're feeding. If you're feeding a dry feed and you put the minerals on top, a lot of times people will say, well, they sift it down through to the bottom. We recommend putting on an oil. Our oil works very, very well. It ends up making the feed very palatable. Our oil is one of our most palatable products. And making sure you mix it in good once you put that oil on there. And the big thing is make sure you don't go home and if you need to feed 2 or 3 ounces of that product, don't start with that. Horses are such a creature of habit. We have to back it down, do small increments for that first week or so. Maybe pull the grain back, make them a little bit hungry. They'll gradually start eating on it and then fulfill up to where it needs to be at.
I think to add on to there, the moisture part, you eat oil, water, anything like that. Banana flavored, I know you've said it a lot, banana flavored instant pudding, peppermint antacid, anything like that to add some flavor and just sprinkle a little bit of that on. Get them hungry. That's one thing RJ said. Back them down. They're not going to starve to death overnight. Make sure they've got hay, make sure they've got their water, obviously, but get them a little hungrier and then work back up into them a little bit. So, and some horses they'll eat a brick. Other ones, you change one little thing and they're like, ah.
Something I've learned to do, I put my minerals in first, and then my grain on top, and then put my oil on top of it, because the oil will go straight to the bottom too. So it makes it easier to see.
And I've actually I done a test with mine and actually just did the oil and the supplements and gave it to them, and they were like, at first they were like, and then they realized it was the oil, and they ate the oil and the supplements with no feed.
Other questions?
The DHA perform.
I will talk on that. That was a tough one to look at. The simple reason that we don't have the DHA perform is our cost. It kept getting driven higher and higher. It was going to be unfeasible for us to purchase, let alone try to sell it. But we did a lot of talking with Tania. What could we do? It's a great product. The amount of DHA that is in our Breeders XL, if you are looking for that DHA product, by all means, talk to your territory manager. You can supplement in the Breeders XL, get that same amount of DHA, and fulfill those same requirements.
I was just surprised to see it's still in here.
Yeah.
We'll print it.
Nope. Go ahead.
Are there any supplements you would definitely recommend or would not recommend for a horse that's HYPP-NH?
Oh, question about HYPP. So the quarter horse pedigree that cannot have high amounts of potassium in the diet, genetic condition. There's not enough potassium in any one of our supplements fed at the rates that they're fed. The first thing I ask people when they're quizzing me about the amount of potassium and telling me that there's too much in there, I can't feed that. The internet told me I've got to keep my diet less than 1.2%, and that's got 1.25 in it. And I said, well, what kind of hay are you feeding? Alfalfa. Everybody feeds alfalfa. My grandpa feed alfalfa. Been doing that for my whole life. You know what alfalfa is? Straight potassium. So, no, the sensible answer to your question is that if your horse was hyper sensitive, you might be a little, we can talk about kind of the correct way to feed an electrolyte supplement, and any electrolyte is going to be the same. But other than that, the rest of the supplements, you feed such a small quantity.
And have not had any issues.
Yeah.
Grass hay, but it's always nice just to ask.
Yes, absolutely.
Nicole?
With the change to the metabolic, will that change the shelf life at all?
Probably improve it because it's not milk-based.
She asked if the change of the metabolic will decrease the shelf life, and Dr. Cubitt said it will probably improve it. I will tell you that if you open up the bag, Furman and I, when it first came in, we opened up a bag, and it smells like you opened up a fresh bale of alfalfa, not like the metabolic was before, so we were very excited to see that. Justin. The timeline on the fly control? So we are actually, I was hoping to have a for sure answer on that. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you the end of April. I would love to say it's going to be sooner than that. We have already, Furman and I talked on it to get it in the DAC bags, to get everything rolling on that. So we will, as soon as it is, there will be letters sent out. Territory managers will know. But I don't want to miss fly season with it. We want to get going on it. Cool gut timeline change. Dr. Cubitt and I will be working here the month of April, seeing what we can get accomplished.
Is there a protocol for someone who wants to do an event with other dealers in the state area, or do you want to go something a little bigger? What's the protocol?
Yeah, I think it goes back to communication. Talk to your territory manager, make sure they don't have someone else that's going to it, because it doesn't make sense for two dealers there. But as a dealer, there aren't protected territories or anything like that. But I want it to be worth your time. So I don't want you to go there and find out that, another dealer is there as well, and you're both selling the same thing and washing each other out. So I think it's just a communication part. I know for the most part, all of us have Facebook groups that our group is in. Don't be afraid to pop in there, say, hey guys, I'm going to this event. Is there going to be anyone else in there selling the DAC products? You can do that, or just reach directly to your territory manager.
I just have one, not a comment on that, but this was a situation that happened a few weeks ago, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to bring it up. So maybe, who was it? One of your dealers? The thing that... Anyway, so a dealer messaged me and said, can you send me the research on Product X, some on our Rescue Aid, I think. Somebody is telling me, this person I was talking to about it is telling me that hindgut ulcers don't exist, and so I want to show her the research that they do exist. And I think the person had some other supplement they were trying to sell, maybe, I don't know. But my initial reaction, I immediately sent her a paper on the incidence of hindgut ulcers, and there's veterinarians all around the world that will tell you this is a real thing. I mean, we've got horses, chronic diarrhea, colic, unexplained. I mean, this is a real issue. But then I got to thinking, it was like, why do we always have to constantly prove science? And Jenna mentioned it before, I've got a better product. You show me your science that yours is fine, Why do we constantly have to prove ourselves? We have the science. If you're trying to go against, all of the science and the norm, then that person that's arguing with you, politely, you show me your science. I've got a whole book full of science here. I've got 2 PhD nutritionists. I've got science coming out my ears, and your crazy wacky idea that whatever it is that herb that you should be feeding, this is way better than anything you've got. Okay, fine, that's great. You show me your science, because it's unfortunate that we continue to have to prove ourselves and prove our science. But be confident that we do have the science. Be confident in the products that you're selling, that you're representing, because ultimately the only thing any one of us has is our reputation. And you can only stand behind products and companies that you have confidence in. And so I really do hope that when you come to these meetings, and I'm such a huge proponent of people coming to DAC days, so that it really does help emphasize that confidence that you have, not only in the products, but in the brand, and then that the team that are there. You may not see us when you're in that conversation, but we're right there. We are right there behind you in every conversation. And just know that we are there. So that was my little TED talk. Sorry. Any other questions?
Yes.
We do the catalog, the pasture look in the features, it doesn't list the GI Pro 3.
It's not in the Pastulic.
Yep, on the products that contain the GI Pro 3, if you look down at the bottom of all their pages, there'll be the PHN GI Pro 3 label on it. And then I think the sheet in your packet as well has them all broke down, kind of shows where they're at a supportive level and a therapeutic level as well. So.
One more over here. We have a male or feeding breeder's choice. She wants to have a foal of a month. When a foal is born, should we keep on feeding breeder's choice?
So the question is, he's got a mare, she's in foal, she's going to have it in a couple of months, she's on Breeder's Choice. When the mare is born, should she continue to stay on the Breeder's Choice Plus? Yes, because that foal is also going to nibble away at her food, and that is going to help. You know, the extra calcium is going to help that foal. At about 3 months of age, you're going to transition that foal to getting its own supplement. So at that age, it could get the colt grower, which also has that calcium, but his system is adjusted to it. So yeah, I would keep her on the Breeder's Choice Plus at least until you wean. And if she's a broodmare that's staying in your broodmare band, by the time that foal is weaned, I mean, she's pregnant again anyway, so.
All right, well, we're gonna end the questions on that for right now. We will go back to one more questionnaire at the end when we give out the last bit of our giveaways. With that being said, we are going to step into awards. So thank you, Dr. Cubitt and Andy, on that. Let's give them a round of applause, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna do the scholarship one first. So in 2023, we handed out our first ever Commitment to Excellence Scholarship. We were very honored to be able to do that. I myself grew up in the horse industry, was able to do a lot with the horses, got a couple scholarships in the horse world, and I'd love to be able to pass that back down to the kids. My wife, my sister, both had scholarships to ride horses in college, and we wanted to be able to do the same thing. There's a lot of young kids that are traveling all around the United States showing horses time in and time out, and they don't get to be at home and be that normal kid sometimes. And so we wanted to give back to them. But in 23, we lost a person to us that really meant a lot, and I'm gonna try to get through this. Dr. Cubitt and my wife and I were like, well, let's make this a little more meaningful. The guy who kind of stood behind all of us, my father and I, my Aunt Tina, my grandma's here today. It is now going to be the Harvey Jacobs Commitment to Excellence Scholarship. Excuse me.
RJ, we love you, baby. You're the best. You and your dad.
For many of you that don't know, though, my grandpa was probably my #1 fan. He was at every football game. I was the youngest youth kid to ever win the Quarter Horse Congress, which the video played earlier, Grand Champion Youth Gelding. I was 8 years old and I won that, and I can still hear him yelling, holy moly. I was like, whoa, Grandpa, calm down. It's gonna be okay. So with that being said, we want to be able to honor him in the years coming, and I'm very fortunate to be able to hand out this scholarship this year to actually, which is kind of funny, and I joked about it, and I said this kind of seems like it's rigged because it's a dealer's daughter who ended up, I used to call on the dealer that won the scholarship. We're very excited to offer the scholarship once again as we're focused on the upcoming generations and being the future of the industry and supporting them to grow stronger together with our team. The scholarship application process required a 500-word essay explaining how equine involvement has prepared them for the future of what major skills they have acquired and how they will apply those skills moving forward. This year, we are proud to announce the recipient of the Harvey Jacobs Commitment to Excellence Scholarship is Jenna Fischer. If you wouldn't mind calling up, Jenna. Congratulations. This young lady from Kentucky expressed passion, leadership, and commitment to the industry in her education. She is very involved with the community and most of all, loves horses and credits much of her success to them. These are just a few of Jenna's outstanding attributes that stood out to our committee. Jenna intends on studying animal science pre-vet in college after graduating high school in May. We are thrilled to have Jenna and her parents here with us today to accept this award. So, when I said that I thought it was kind of rigged, which it very well wasn't, my wife is the one that is in charge of our scholarship process. All of these got handed in, and my wife picked out the top 5. They went to my mother, top 5, my Aunt Tina, my sister. Then they came down to the top 3. They took the names off of them, so all it was the 500-word essay. And I read it, and I was like, wow, this one here, this blew it out of the water. And then she said, that's funny. She said, I figured you'd pick that one. And I said, why is that? She said, it's one of your old dealers. It's Robin Fischesser's daughter. So thank you guys very much, and thank you. And we are very excited to have you. You get an awesome jacket here, and we look forward to your commitment to the industry in the future. So thank you. Thank you. With that being said, can I have the whole DAC staff that is down here on the main floor, and if you're able to up there, come up to the front, please. So as my father said, he talked a little bit about how I put this together and I had everything going great. And probably if you ask some of these people, they probably wanted me off their backs because I wanted to make sure it was perfect before my father got home from Florida. So I was nonstop. Come on, guys, make sure this is clean. Furman has the warehouse, him, Johnny, Ethan, and Vernon. They're back there right now. I think Furman's still up here right here. Furman's like a brother to me. He knows exactly how things need to be done. He's grown up with my father. He's worked for us since he was 14 years old. And I tell everybody, Furman was like a brother to me before I even really knew my other brothers because they lived far away for a long time. And so Furman knows when my dad's gone, when I'm not there, he doesn't have to ask. He doesn't need to call us. He just jumps on it and does it. And if you have seen our warehouse back there, you've seen the facility, he has it spotless. So thank you very much, Furman, for all of that. The rest of the crew up here, our sales reps, my Aunt Tina. My Aunt Tina puts this on, guys. My dad, give her a round of applause. I joke with her, my dad says he's semi-retired, and Aunt Tina might be probably going to step in that direction a little bit, but she's going to always do DAC days, even when she is retired. I promise you that. Her friend Lisa is sitting somewhere probably up top, over here, up top. Without my Aunt Tina and Lisa, they've been up here all week. This week, we actually were way further ahead of the game, got things done on Monday, had stuff lined up by Wednesday afternoon. Those two ladies did a phenomenal job. So one more time, let's give Lisa and Aunt Tina a round of applause. The next, we go into our sales reps and our territory managers real quick before we go into our top 10. Guys, time and time again, I strive on the team. I played high school football like I had talked. Our team right now is part of none. I love each and every one of them. We got to do a company trip this year. We got to take Performance Horse Nutrition, Dr. Cubitt, with us on that trip, being for us to be able to mingle, bond together. Yesterday, our staff training was, as my year here, the best staff training we've ever had. We all intermingled. We had fun. We joked. Wednesday night, we go get dinner. We come back to the house, and it's fun. So you guys are very fortunate to have a territory managers like you do, and we are very fortunate to have you guys on our team. So thank you very, very much. And with that being said, if the sales reps would stay up here that have the dealers in the top 10, and we're gonna start right off into that. Let's give them all a round of applause one more time. So top 10 dealers. Coming in at number 10 is Tammy Harms-Myers, Andy Ellsworth in Platteville, Wisconsin. We'll wait and give her one round of applause at the end. Number 9, Romp and Place Stables, Dennis Slabaugh, Shipshewana, Indiana. I know Dennis was at the Ashland horse sale this morning, was at the office last night, went back to the sale this morning, came back today, was able to make as much as he could, so thank you very much. Number 8, Cub Run Milling, Lester Byler. Lester Ray, is Lester Ray still here? Yep, right over there, Dave, far left. Number 7, Aaron Yoder, Drakesville, Iowa. Number 6, Hillside Harness, John Raber. And you know, we talk about these being in the top 10. You could probably go through here and ask any one of the people that are in the top 10. It's not just them. Their name might be the one that pops up or their business name, but deep down, it's the team that they have behind it. I was standing there talking to John and Henry and their team earlier today, and you know, the team means more than anything. The guys they have behind the scenes that are working day in and day out and are willing to come and learn and get that education means a lot. So thank you, guys. Number 5, Willis Graber, Odin, Indiana. Willis is right over there in the front. Number 4, Nicole Varee. Number 3 goes to Homer Schlabaugh, Wisconsin with Andy. Number 2, Yoder's Blacksmith, Henry Yoder in Fredericksburg, Ohio. If I'm not mistaken, when I was a delivery boy, that might have been one of my first ever deliveries, was to Yoder Blacksmith when I was in high school. It was the closest one to home, I think. And number 1 goes to Mullet's Harness Shop, Joey Mullet. Joey couldn't make it today, had a passing in the family, so I believe some of his crew is here and maybe his boy is here. So thank you very much, though, to those top 10 dealers. Let's give them one big round of applause. I might need my Aunt Tina for one quick second. I told somebody earlier, I'll make one mistake today, and I think I might have made one. I just need to organize myself. I was actually on track. Our top distributors. Number 1 coming in as Animal Health International in Loveland, Colorado. Number 2 is Elvie Schrock. Elvie Schrock, I'm sure that I could let my dad speak on this a little bit. I've gotten to grow a really close relationship with Elvie Schrock over in Arcola, Illinois. And he had a same thing. He had a nephew that passed away yesterday morning unexpectedly, so he wasn't able to make it. Elvie and I have became kind of close over the years. I know my dad and Ruben had a very good relationship, and my dad had a hard time stepping in after Bob had left to get Ruben's respect, and Elvie and I are starting to get that, and I have a lot of fun getting over to travel with Elvie Schrock in that area. And number 3 is RJ Matthews, I believe. Yeah. Yep, Kevin is here. Perfect. So let's give our top 3 distributors one round of applause. This next award here is something that I've never done before, and we're going to start handing it out each year. It's going to be an award of excellence. John Helmuth is a dealer underneath of Elvie Schrock over in Illinois, does a great job, attends DAC days almost every year that I can remember, constantly calling on the phone, hey, where's my numbers at? Or I'll call him, hey, where are you at? How's things going? always wanting to learn. He has a brother there that helps him as well. His brother was at the Combach conference with me, got to talk with him a lot on the products. So this award here is the new one. It's for John Helmuth. John, if you could come on up here. Thank you very much. So I'm going to have Andy Ellsworth come on up here again. Like I had said before, guys, I really didn't know where to start when I became in the general manager position, kind of because of this guy. I was like, I'm going to stand over here. Andy has always been very self-motivated, driven for the correct thing, to learn that knowledge and stuff. And he put that on me. And, when I stepped in, I was like, I was the young guy on the totem pole. I had a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn. I'm constantly learning. And Andy's been a great mentor to me. With that being said, Andy went last year, and when I was my last year in sales, I told him I was coming after him. Well, I don't know what happened there, but I never even got close. Let me tell you. Yeah, he wasn't worried, and there was no reason to be worried. Last year in 2023, Andy set himself goals. Every year I do an end of the year conference, and I ask the reps, or I have the goals that I have set for him. When I call Andy, he tells me his goals. I don't even have to give him what I think where he should be at. I sit back and say, what are you going to do this year, Andy? How are you going to blow the roof off the building? And in 2023, he most definitely did that. So with that being said, I messed up there again, sorry. We're going to...
I'll be back.
Okay. We're going to go into the top territory dealer. He's up, right? Yeah, you're up. So the top territory dealer in Andy's territory is Homer Slaybaugh. Maybe the top three that we're going to go through here. Runner-up, Aaron Yoder. And third place, Tammy Harms-Myers. It's pretty cool to see that, though, in his numbers. All three of those were in the top 10 overall in the company. And all three of those, as long as I can remember, have been at the DAC Days conference and also have been part or hosted the Midwest DAC Days. Dave Backman, if you would come up, please. Top territory dealer, Willis Graber. Coming in second, Cub Run Milling. In third place, Rompin' Place Stables in Indiana. Again, all three coming to DAC Days have been here every year that I can remember as well. So it does show, the numbers show the guys that are willing to come and learn, each and every one of you, the sales continue to grow. When we did our report last year at the end of the year after DAC Days, I would say 98% of the people that were at a DAC Days and attended, hosted a meeting, their sales had a positive incline on them. Katie McGrain, would you come up, please? Oh, she's there in the back. All right. Top territory dealer is Nicole Varee in Pennsylvania. Right here. Yeah, sorry about that. Runner-up, Byler's Harness and Shoe Shop, Pennsylvania. And in third place is AF Equine, Alyssa Fasolo. Trapper. You gonna come up or you gonna back there? Back there? All right. And many of you might know, I'm going to jump on this real quick. Everett Troyer used to be a territory manager for us. I was talking to him the other day. He's worked for us for about 13 out of the last 15 years. He left last year after DAC Days, wanted to work on his family, do some stuff for himself. We actually brought Everett back on here about couple months ago to help his dad and be his dad's, what Everett likes to tell everybody, he's his dad's secretary. I don't like to use that word, but Everett is on board now, helping his dad. Him and his dad are working to cover the state of Ohio and West Virginia together. Most of you that are in Ohio have probably seen Everett now on the road. So you guys have both reps now, and I'm very excited to have Everett back on our team and be able to help us out. So number 1 is Mullet's Harness Shop. Joey Mullet, Middlefield. Give it to him. Number 2, Yoder's Blacksmith, Henry Yoder. And number 3 is Hillside Harness and Hardware, Millersburg. Thank you guys very much. So this here shows our $1 million territory managers. And like I had said earlier, Andy's first year with the company was $130,000 in sales, and last year he hit that $2 million threshold. So thank you guys very much, Andy, Dave, Katie, and Trapper, on your commitment to excellence here at DAC and being part of our team, and thank each and every one of you. Let's give those top dealers a round of applause. Okay, now I'll bring Andy back up and I'll do what I was trying to do earlier. So I'd already kind of introduced Andy on that note. Andy's kind of held me to that standard. Andy and I have grown very close over this last year, being able to do some traveling together. I've been out now twice with him with his DAC days in the Midwest, had a tremendous time, other than last year he made Dr. Tania Cubitt, myself, and my wife go to Tammy Harmer's meeting. It was a great meeting, other than the fact Andy, he just went and set up and went and got dinner. We had a DAC days, we had a meeting at night, got to where we were staying at like midnight or 1 in the morning, and had to get back up at 6 a.m. to go to the next DAC days. And he tried to tell me we're doing that again, and I said, not a chance. I said, I'll do Tammy's meeting any day of the week, but I'm not doing it that day. So Andy, he made me mad a little bit there, but Andy has hit that $2 million threshold in sales, and I can't wait to see where he ends up this year. So he ended up being our top territory manager and also our Rising Star Award winner with a 14.8% increase in his sales in 2023. So thank you very much, Andy. This was, I talked a little bit on Andy and I, we got to go on a hunt, being that he was the Rising Star and the top sales rep. You can see the gun laying there. The deer actually ran right into the end of his barrel. He never even had to pull the trigger. So I won't tell the miss story on the first morning, but other than that, we had a great time, and I thank you again, Andy. So let's give him one more round of applause.